Hello and welcome to another Woodshop podcast with Mike Coffey of Coffey Custom Builds, Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks, and Peter Kapar of Petrie's Workshop. You can find us all as well as the podcast on Instagram and YouTube.
Welcome to episode 89 of another Woodshop podcast. And now I'm going to throw the intro to Dan.
Oh, hi.
Get off my lawn! Yeah. I don't have an intro, so I just thought I'd throw you under the bus. What's going on, everyone?
Did I rush it? Did I rush it too fast, Pete, for the intro? Should I let you giving you another minute to simmer on this?
No, it's fine.
Perfect.
It was playing, and then I went, "Oh, I don't have anything." Dan looks like he's thinking.
I got nothing.
I was watching a music video.
Outstanding timing.
Was it me and Mike dancing to the intro song?
No,
Were you aware we're doing a podcast?
It's a Kanye West video.
I don't know. You got real Island Boy vibes right now.
Real Island Boy vibes. Hey, listen, this episode's brought to everyone by Patreon. Big thank you to all of you who support us over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Another Woodshop podcast. Sean Marks is back as
Made
a
with
patron.
Marks.
He used to be a patron, and then he came to his senses, and now he's lost his mind again, and he's back part of the Matt Army. So big thanks to Sean Marks.
You're going a different direction with that.
No. Big thanks to Sean coming back. Thank you for supporting the show. And I think there's other stuff we do now typically.
Yeah.
And we have a review. So I think it's probably best that we play this.
Go, Black Betty, Ram Lamb. That's the
know how
Kanye
I
West
made
song
that
I was
right.
listening
Text.
to.
Yes.
Black Betty. Whoa. Too soon. Okay, so this one is from Made by Default. It's a 5 out of 5 star review. Of course, it's the only one you can leave. It says cured. I was having a hard time remembering people from the previous meetups and conventions. I was so down. All I wanted to do was sit around and play NBA 2K. I didn't read this one. No one could figure out what was wrong until my doctor referred me to the mayonnaise clinic, where I was diagnosed with dementia. My doc prescribed Donepezil and a weekly dose of AWP. Since then, I've been back to my normal self, making grumpy cat river cutting boards like a champ. Thanks, AWP. Thank you, Made by Default. I'm thumbs up big for the people listening and not watching. So big thanks to Made by Default for the review. Makes no sense. And that's the
I can't tell if that was an attack on me or
I don't know. I think he loves you.
Mike,
I think he loves you.
As you brought up the reviews,
it's butt love. Nothing but love. Go ahead.
Something clicked in my brain. One of our patrons reached out to me and told me that there are indeed reviews on Yelp. Yelp just lists them as there are 8 reviews not recommended to you because they don't seem to talk about the business. Like Yelp filters them.
Really?
There's actually 8 reviews. We don't have to read them this time. Really? I think let's savor them. We got a review this week. That's great.
Let's just drop them here and there throughout the holidays.
We'll just sprinkle them in. That's fine. This is great. Thank you for
calling
in.
Holiday cheer.
But
no one called in. What are you talking about? Well, anyway, big thanks to the patrons. Big thanks to the reviewers, whether it be on iTunes or our Yelp page, which is a radio station in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yep.
So big thanks to you guys for that.
I'll read this one. It's really fast. It's from Jonathan Sparks, and it's just giggling schoolgirls. That's the whole review. Solid 8 out of 10. Would recommend. It? Yeah, that's it. Very simple.
8 out of 10. That's not high enough.
Why is that not recommended? I'm gonna not review. No. Add an owner reply. We can reply to
flag that one.
Owner replies. Yes.
Let's brainstorm this, or maybe we need to do something with the patrons to help us make the reply. I don't know. That'd be kind of fun.
Let's workshop it.
Let's workshop it.
Yeah, let's workshop
Let's
it.
wood shop it.
No, those guys don't need to help us. No, that's wood talk, not wood shop. Let's talk. Let's talk about. I guess we're gonna go into what's on our bench. We're kind of flying through this already. Let's do what's on our bench. I'd love to hear, Dan, if you could just think of something right now to get us into that. Go.
He's got a list.
What's on my bench? Holy cow, that's amazing. Your beautiful voice is just incredible. Dan, you want to go first?
Really selling it.
Are you?
I was doing my
Cleaning
vocal
your
warm-ups.
nose, or-
Yeah.
Oh, after you sing it. Okay, cool.
Cough, cough, sniffle, sniffle.
My week went like this: slabs, floating shelf, drone, clean shop, door, Etsy, and bow ties.
Who told him to make a list?
This is it? What the heck? You don't read the list like that.
Oh, am I doing this wrong? I'm sorry. So yeah, I got a couple slabs coming in. Actually, I got one in my shop already. It's a 8 foot. Well, I think it's a little bit under 8 foot. I think it's like 7.5 feet. 7.5 foot monkey
feet.
pod slab, and that's going to be a not necessarily a console table, but like a drink table that
the boys.
that goes behind a couch for a client. And last night, I got another commission for an 11-foot hackberry table for a basement in a brand new house. So
What did I say would happen when you did that cookie? After you did that cookie, what did I say would happen?
I'd get more live edge
Prepared to do a
work.
ton of live edge tables.
Hey, I'm down. I'm down with it. Give me all the live edge
Dude,
work.
They're so fun.
All the live
Yeah,
edge.
yeah, yeah. They're great.
All the live edge. Thank you.
All the live-
Piotr. Aside from the slabs,
Yo.
I've been working on a floating shelf for another client, and I happen to be. This is kind of like trade work I got going on with him. I'm doing this floating shelf. He already paid me with a really nice gimbal for my Canon R6 that maybe someday I'll use, but I'm also getting a drone from him at a really great price. This is like a $2,000 drone,
Pew, pew.
and I got it
It is a
for
great price.
for like $450, $400.
I tried to get it for a good price too, and then
Dan
was
snaked
like,
it for Mike.
Set no.
So, did you
no,
see the new
he's
Mavic
gonna
3?
use it more
The
than
new
I
Mavic
want.
I'm pretty
Three,
excited
bro?
about that. My wife, on the other hand, not so excited for the drone. I don't know why.
Tell her.
She's gonna find out sooner or later when she sees it flying around the bedroom. What is that doing in here?
Don't look at that.
Look directly at
And
it.
I have been talking about. Haven't been talking about it. I've talked about it a few times in the past, but I got a big job for a front door for another client for another brand new house. I'm actually going to start on that probably next week. I've been trying to hold off as long as I can because that thing is going to be massive. It's going to be 42 inches by 8
Thick.
feet tall just for the door,
Oh, that's big.
2 inches thick, maybe 2.5. I need to review the specs on it a little bit. And well, that thing's going to be
Really
like,
thick for a door. Holy cow!
it's going to be a big boy. And it's
Aren't they usually 1.5
they specifically asked for 2.5. They got very specific.
custom door. You get what you want. You
Yeah.
get what you want with a custom door.
And yeah, that thing's going to be really heavy, and I don't want to have to move it around my shop too much, so I don't want to get it done too soon and then like have to wait to
Thinks my
deliver it.
tractor sexy. That's what you need is a tractor. Sorry.
Well, yeah.
Give me Kayla's number. We'll get this thing happening.
You need a Nick Brim in your shop.
So
He's your door guy.
I'm going to start on that next week. Apparently, their windows are going in the house in December like 16th ish. So I'm going to try to time it to get the door done about the same time the windows are going in.
Dude, you got
So-
a book. Holy cow.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's just a giant tabletop. I mean, I can do that. It's no big deal.
Both the frame, you know.
Yeah,
kinda
it's
line
not
up.
The door
that's
jam
gonna
is going to
hard.
be
It's gonna the
separate work.
frame.
The frame is going to be easy. I'm not even worried about it. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a really good woodworker. Really
Never
good.
doubted it.
All right.
No one said you weren't.
And
Some good
then
moves.
Except for I saw this one video where you were making a door and it didn't like close or something. I think
closed.
7.4 million other people saw it too.
7 million.
7 million.
7.5
people
million, I think.
saw it,
Maybe
and they
closer to
agreed
8.
It was a door.
I was totally off by 7.4. Sorry about that.
And then because of all the work I'm going to be doing in my shop, I had a big burning session today. I burned a ton of scraps. You'd be so proud, Mike. I've been saving a lot of stuff, now that I got the CNC, I'm like, oh, I could save that, and I could cut it to bow ties, or I could cut it to like little bottle openers or something. And I had a burn party. I just got rid of a bunch of stuff today. Because having the space is
out a ton too.
Having the space is going to be more important than saving all those little scraps at the moment. I mean, I'm always going to have scraps. I'll always get scraps in the past.
Wow, that's
or
weird.
in the
Mike,
future.
That's almost like what you said when you and Rusty had it out there.
Oh my gosh!
Weird.
I actually am guilty of it too. When I did the move, I brought a ton of scrap.
Everybody's guilty of it.
Yeah, I mean it's
everybody.
I threw a 55-gallon trash bag or metal trash can of little offcuts into the bonfire pit.
But the trays,
so
you could have made trays.
Right.
And then
I can't get a hold of 4/4 wood.
I'll never be able to get that exact piece.
How am I gonna get walnut 4/4? How is this gonna happen?
And then bow ties are feeding the family still. And with that said, I'm running an Etsy sale, 20% off, almost everything until December 1st for the Black Friday holiday extravaganza. Blah. Come get your bow ties and what have you.
Are you gonna do your 20% sale and then a crazy sale one day only on Black Friday?
No, we're doing 20% only.
50% off.
I'm not doing
everything.
Yeah, anything more than that would be like. That's a lot. I was like 20%.
But no free shipping.
That was the 20% was the Etsy recommended sale.
Oh,
They're
really?
like, you should do the 20% cyber week or something like that. They send out those emails, and Pete has said in the past, take advantage of whatever
they tell you to do,
whatever they're selling, and it works. It works.
Yes, Etsy Daddy.
Yeah, Etsy Daddy.
Yes.
Whatever Etsy Daddy says.
And
Etsy
that
mommy
concludes my week. I would like to hear about Mike's.
Pete wants to go last, he said, because
I mean, I'm fine now. I just
if Pete wants to go last, I want him to go next.
Oh, Mike, what do you got?
I've had a very busy week. I wanted to start with, I was on another podcast this week, the Green Suitors podcast. Those guys had me on.
Well,
yeah, it was. It was a really good time. What is that? Is that you marking off your list?
Oh, it's also scratching your name off.
By the way, Dan, just so you know,
Off
for
your
description or like what's on your bench, I literally just wrote Dan, open quotes, slabs, table, floating shelves, drone, door, bow ties. And that's it. That's all I wrote.
And clean shop.
That's good.
Clean shop, sorry.
That'll help me with the description on Buzzsprout. Anyway.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I was on that podcast. It was actually a really good time. Had a good time.
Aren't they our enemies? They're our sworn enemies, I thought.
They were complaining a lot that we've literally never once mentioned their podcast on
Which
our
podcast
show.
is this?
They haven't paid us.
Like, is that true?
What is it?
I was like, is that true? Have we never mentioned their podcast? I felt kind of bad. Jason's been on the show before, but anyway, yeah, I was on that podcast. It was a good time. That's coming out next week or something. So that was cool.
What's that podcast about again?
I wanted to take some time and talk about this table that I've had lots of problems with. And I'm going to truncate this because a lot of this is minutia that no one cares about. But so I built this table. It was this boomerang shaped table. It was a very easy build. It was like 3 days of work, or it should have been.
Babushka?
Please, Mike, keep going.
Oh God,
Dan's learning
How
words.
do you mute him, Pete? No, Dan's learning words. It's getting smarter. Hit it with fire. No,
I won't learn.
So I built this boomerang table. It was actually a lot more fun to build than I thought it was going to be, and it was a little easier than I thought it was going to be too. A big cutting board kind of thing, shaped like a boomerang. So it was smooth. It went good. I was finishing it. I've been using a product for almost a year now since I got my Fuji sprayer. Fuji actually recommended this product, which is Target Coatings, and it's a great product. I've had just really great success with Target Coatings, for the year. Really, I've had no issues. It's been really solid for me. I laid down the pigmented lacquer, which was by Target Coatings, and that laid down perfectly. It looked really good. And then I went to lay down the lacquer on top of that because the customer wanted a gloss. And when I laid it down, it fisheyed, and it looked.
And Mike, what is
horrendous.
fisheying? Because some people might not know.
It's
I
when
actually
you
have to
get
look it
little
up. I didn't
round
know.
dots. It's when you get little round dots. It's basically where the chemical adhesion is not happening on some points with the liquid. So it looks like fish eyes throughout the whole thing. So
I'm still trying to work out Minushka.
Babushka.
It's Matryoshka.
Minushka is a city in Russia.
Thank you for clarifying. Minsk.
No, Minushka.
Okay, so the anyway, so I sprayed the finish over the top, and it looked bad. So my first response, or my first thought was, okay, I've got a dirty gun. So I cleaned my gun out. I let that dry. I
Dirty gun.
I sanded it back. Yeah, I sanded it back. I cleaned my gun, and I sprayed again. I got the same thing. So then I sanded it back. I knew my gun was clean. I tried another finish, which is by Target Coatings. I tried their urethane. I got the same thing, which you can spray the urethane over the lacquer. Anyway, it was bad. So I started working with the manufacturer, who I have a good relationship with. And, long story short, we tried a bunch of stuff on my end to make sure there was no contamination on my end, which there was not. I ended up cleaning every 5 times I use my gun. I do a full acetone wash for my guns. In between those, I do a hot water wash, and it's worked well for me for a year. So one night I tore apart both of my guns, threw them into a bucket, filled it up so everything was completely submerged in acetone, and I left it overnight. And I like to use acetone to clean the gun because when it dries, it leaves no residue, and it dries in minutes. Like when you pull the gun out of the bath of acetone, it dries really fast and there's no residue. When I came out in the morning, there was, I think I showed Pete and Dan a picture of this. There was these little black pieces of stuff in the bottom of the bucket, and that stuff was in my gun. So, after more conversation with Target Coatings and us determining it's not on my end, I even went to the hardware store and got a water test strip thing to see if my water has too high of a pH balance and to make sure our water wasn't the problem. Which it was not. It was determined that the raw material supplier for the monomers that they make the lacquer and the urethane out of, the manufacturer of that had changed the ingredients, and it messed up the shelf life of their product. It was very frustrating for me as the end user, and it was very frustrating for them as a company, because now they have a bunch of product out there, or I don't know how much there is. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say something that I don't know is true or not. They have at least some product out there that is no good. So they immediately, for me, they jumped on it. I know they're going to be making it right for people in terms of getting them product that works. But they took care of it for me, got me product that works. They're going to get me product that works when they have it in stock. So it was a very frustrating 3 weeks. The product was bad. They got to the bottom of it. They're correcting the issue, which is the best I can hope for. When you're a small business yourself and something goes wrong for a customer, all you can do is hope that they'll be understanding and know that you're doing the best you can. And I know that I don't want to say his name over there. I don't know if it matters or not, but Target Coatings, the guy who owns Target Coatings, I know that he's doing the best he can to correct the issue. So that's all I can ask for. Good product, and thanks, Dan. And
Tracked it down.
It's a very frustrating situation, but these things happen, and unfortunately, they can cost a lot of money, and that's what it was for my case. Is it cost me a lot of time, but I'm also a bit invested into this product because I've recommended it to people on my channel. I wanted to kind of help get to the bottom of what the problem was, so I didn't want to just be like, oh, hey, all these people that I just recommended this product to for the last 9 months, I'm jumping ship. That's not my style. I wanted to help figure out what the problem was and get to the bottom of it, because people are using this product because I recommended it. And if there was a problem on my end, I wanted to make that clear to people that it was an issue on my end and what I did wrong, but it wasn't on my end. It was the ingredients. they're going to fix it.
All
So that's
joking
the long
aside,
story
that's
short on that.
really respectable, dude. Good on you.
I was very, very stressed out because I know at least 15 to 20 people who have bought their product because I recommend it and they tag me in there when they use it. And that stressed me out. And I don't take that really lightly, you know? And for me, as a guy who hasn't sprayed for like 20, 30 years, I've only been spraying for a year. For me, it works. The product really has been very good for me. It's a really good product. But I'm not the most knowledgeable person to get information from for spray equipment and stuff. So when people do spend their hard-earned money on my recommendation, if it was something I recommended and it went bad, I did feel really bad. So I'm really glad they're getting to the bottom of it and correcting it. So that's where I'm at with that. I got a tractor this was that last week? No, I got it Monday. I got it this week. I am so excited about having this tractor. I got it for Coffee Custom Builds for all the material handling. I got
Branson,
it with forks,
right?
so I can Branson. Yeah, I got a 2515H. It's a little 25 horsepower compact tractor. I got a bunch of attachments for it to help around the property, but for material handling, man, it's just so great having a tractor around here. For all the stuff I have to do around here, it's already earning its keep. Like I'll go into that here in a minute, but man, the tractor is awesome. And then
It's got a big hoe in the back, right?
Power, she got a big hoe. So there's a big hoe on the back. I got a carry-all thing. I'm going to be doing some videos on it. I don't even care. Like, I know it's like off brand for like woodworking, but I'm going to just do a homesteading channel now. Here we go. And then I'm going to just go straight for barbecue channel. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go straight barbecue channel.
Yeah. Separate channels or same channel, just mishmash?
No, same channel. I'm just going to do barbecue and homesteading and underwater
Like
basket
a
weaving.
turducken of YouTube channels.
Yeah, shove everything into. Oh my god, no.
That's topical because it's next week.
Yeah. No, and so I got the tractor, but we got I got my power was inspected on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know, recently, the last couple of days, power was inspected and we passed inspection. That's awesome. The electrician did such a good job. He did such a good job. It looks so professional and clean. I mean, he's a professional, so it should, but it looks really good. Right. And well, I don't know. I don't want to go crazy and talk for him, but yeah, the power's signed off on. So now I'm just waiting for the power company to actually run my service line from the pole to the meter. And, there's a mulberry tree that's by my service line and these two cedars. And I kind of just saw the writing on the wall. I knew I was going to be fighting with limbs on these things for the next 40 years. So I just had some tree guys come out this morning and they dropped all three. And that's kind of where the tractor comes back around. Up on the top side of my property, I've been clearing out up there because we want to plant a little orchard. And there's a ton of stumps because this used to be a Christmas tree farm. People would cut their Christmas tree down and then the stumps would just sit there. So I was able to just go through with the tractor, mow down all the old stumps, and then anything that wouldn't just mow down with the bucket, I was able to dig out with the backhoe and get all the stumps. I got a huge burn pile of stumps ready to go. I'm pretty excited about that.
The stump shop.
Then with today, stump shop. It's don't at me, Vic. And then today they dropped all those trees, and I was able to go out there and cut up and buck up the rounds with my son was out there helping me stack. We probably made like a quarter of a cord of wood stack to get ready to dry till you don't really want to split the wood until it's a bit drier. It's really a pain to split it when it's all wet. So we're going to just stack up all the wood. There's some cedar I need to cut up still, but it's just great having the tractor. I bought a chain for it so I can lift the logs up and stuff. It's just so nice anyway. And then, I wanted to make an Etsy announcement too. I am waiting for power. It might be proactive, but if I get power early next week, which is what we're hoping for Black Friday, I'm going to open up the shop and I'm going to do an Etsy sale, a Black Friday Etsy sale. Even if I don't get my power on, I'm going to be opening up the shop for Black Friday. Cause I mean, at that point, it'll probably only be like
right around the corner
before I have power. Yeah. And then I can just like catch up. So I'll probably I'm going to do a big sale on templates because I got a bunch of people asking for templates. And I got like pile of people who want these Farkle boards and these Yahtzee trays. So I gotta get things going on that. I've got all the wood in for all that, so we're good to go there. And then the other thing I wanted to announce was I was asked by Jobber. Obviously, I work with Jobber and I'm an ambassador with them, but I was asked by Jobber to be a speaker at their PD Day. It's their professional development day. It's on February 16th. It is a free online conference that anyone can join. There's going to be a bunch of small business owners there. So if you're trying to grow your business or learn more about the business side of things, they're going to have a bunch of little seminars that you can register for free. Pete is going to put the link to that in the show notes. It'll be my Jobber PD Day link. So I don't think it does anything for me, but it is my link. And I'm actually really excited to speak at that. So what's up, Dan? You look like
you just reminded me that I forgot that I was asked to speak at Ethnic Sandwiches the day after Thanksgiving. There's no online anything. They're not down with the internet. It's an in-person event only. As a matter of fact, I don't think they know I'm coming. I don't think they know I'm coming.
Proper chewing techniques.
It's Chewing Awareness Day.
We don't believe in chewing at
anti-chewers. Anti-chewers.
No chews.
Sandwiches so good. They just slide down your throat.
I'm sorry. Go on.
Anyway, so Jobber PD Day. Pete's gonna have the link down below. That's kind of my week. I'm just waiting for power. I'm the PD Day. Yeah, I'm just really I messaged the guy at the power company and I was like, man, can you please get my power ran tomorrow? Today's Thursday. So Friday or Monday. And he's like, I don't think it's going to happen. I was like, it really broke my heart. I'm really, really, really wanting to get my power done. And Friday, my buddy Sean with Pen Makers, he's coming to help me in the shop. I'm paying him. He's going to help me. We're going to get the dust collection ran and all that done. So
did you offer the power guy a $5 or anything? Like just, maybe a $10 bill?
I was about to be like, hey, you need a coffee table? I'll make you a coffee table. Get my power in there. So
I'll do literally anything.
I will have Pete literally do anything with his mouth next week. No. All right. Back to you, Pete.
Hey, that's I'm the guy. That's right.
I'm so smooth. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's so super smooth. So I've had we've just been having a lot of family stuff going on. Emma's actually in Florida with her brother right now. Everything's good. Everyone's good. Just handling some stuff, and I'm handling the stuff with the house sale for my parents. There's just been a lot. There was a point where I didn't post for I think it was 8 days. And I was like, I need to post something on Instagram because it's getting out of hand. I'm so busy with other stuff, but everything's moving. Everything's rolling. We passed all the inspections. The appraisal is the last thing that's happening tomorrow at 11. And then it's just smooth sailing.
The appraisal on your old house.
On the old house. Yes, we're not selling the house we just moved into. God, no. I love this place. But that is going to be done. And then in December, my parents are moving in with me. Yeah, awesome. Just for a couple of weeks while they wait to finalize everything. Well, they're
been there, done that.
Flying out in January, so there's that.
16 months later, they're still here.
Here's the thing. I'm not super upset about it because my dad's actually a really good shop help. And he's coming over this weekend. He's going to be helping me out because we got to mill up a ton of lumber. I already have about a dozen large cutting board orders. So I got to get those done. 4 of those are from my mom for the family. She wants to take them back to the motherland. And, all that stuff. So they're, engraved with their name and then juice groove, all that fun stuff. But so I got to do a lot of that. I got a bunch of orders that I got to get knocked out. And then I want to make some stock. So I have when people panic last minute and they're like, I need a cutting board. I know it's December 23rd. I'm like, well, I have one and it's $3,000. It's pine and ash. You want it?
Pine and fine.
It's pine and ash and end grain.
End grain ash is fine.
Yeah. End grain. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, agree to that you're wrong. And then speaking of checking out the property, like Mike was talking about, today was actually the first time I have gone to the back part of my property. So I've shown some pictures and
I thought it was a cliff.
Mike thought it was like a 100-foot cliff. It's like a 30.
No, I thought it was like legit 1,000-foot cliff.
No, it's like
I thought it was several
30
hundred feet
down.
down below, and I didn't even know it was your property.
Like
I thought
a
it was just like the
60-degree slope.
That was the end
I
of the
thought the
flat
beer
Earth
can-
right there.
Yeah.
I thought the beer can we set up to shoot the arrows at was like the end of your property.
No, like we're beyond the trees is like where if they were drawing maps, it said there be dragons, whatever. There be monsters. So I went to the back of the property because during the summer, it's technically preserved wetlands. It's usually dry, but if it rains a lot, it does get wet, and the mosquitoes are really bad down there. So I haven't really been checking it out, and it finally got cool enough.
Just light a match.
Just light a match. It's not a fart from Dan.
No, get rid of all those trees down there and then drain the swamp or whatever.
There's not
Get rid
really a
of those
lot of
mosquitoes.
trees.
Drain
There's
the swamp.
There's like
Oh,
4 or
God.
5 like small shrub trees, whatever. But I was going down there because first of all, I wanted to just see the back of the property, and it's a good amount of property back there. I want to actually talk to the city and see like, what can I do with this preserved wetlands? Like, can I put solar on it one day? Can I, I know I can mow it and use it, but I can't build anything on it. So we got to find out what we can
You
actually
can
use it
get
for.
down there to mow it? How do I not remember this? This is crazy.
You didn't go down there. You've
Yeah,
done
I
different
looked-
types
Don't
of
you
going
remember
down when you were here.
The hordes of mosquitoes that wouldn't allow us anywhere near
I
it.
remember
There's a
we're like,
wall.
they're trying to take me, Pete.
I mean,
Hit him with the
I've
gun.
been down there during the summer because I'm not afraid. I'm not a
We were
coward.
shooting mosquitoes with the bow and arrow.
Yeah, they're massive. Actually,
It's a state bird in New
Matt
Jersey.
Morgan was
Mosquito.
here for like a day, and he was like, "Help me with something." He's like, "These bugs are massive. I can't do this. Like, I'm not moving out here." So, but yeah, I would just want to see what's
shocking.
possible down there. Yeah, man, it's out in the country. That's what you get. What else? What
Me
else?
too.
What else?
But I
Yeah,
said
I know,
flies.
but you got like in like a
Turd.
dry area usually. Like you're in California.
It's like a dry heat.
It's a dry heat. You're in Arizona of California.
Yeah.
Not even close.
How dare you?
All right. So aside from that,
Well, it was 130 here.
Jesus.
Sorry, it's
Okay.
my Arizona joke.
What else was I doing? Oh yeah, I was cleaning up the shop like Dan was saying too. I'm finalizing the things. Like there's been a bunch of crap inside my workbench that I've just been hiding. So now I'm finally hanging it up on the wall, finalizing everything. I'm planning out the dust collection because in the next couple of months I'll be getting that new dust collector. Yay. And I got to run all the hard plumbing and all that stuff through the shop. Aside from that, I got a couple of commissions that I got to take care of. I'm still trying to work out the stuff with the city, or the customers trying to work out stuff with the city for the business sign that I'm making for them, because apparently their city is very anal about what you put out. Like you can put out a mailbox, but everything else is like you got to get essentially a permit to just like put something on your property. And
Your city?
No, not my city. This is a couple towns over.
Oh.
But so like they want it, in the ground. They need to pour concrete. They need to put a post in there. And apparently it's a nightmare in their city. So they're dealing with it. I'm just doing the design. So we got to figure that out. Aside from that, I'm actually designing an MFT top table for someone. And I'm probably going to list that it's going to cut out on a CNC. I'm going to list that on Etsy as well as a plan. I'm not going to ship that table. Jeez. But I'm making that. I'm working on my website, and what else? Oh, and then I met with the client that wanted me to make those. They're called dry ice climbing tools. So if you've ever seen like an ice pick for ice climbing, it's like that, but it's wooden and it's got a leather strap on it. It's for using in indoor rock climbing gyms for training and stuff. So we're basically working on. He's providing most of the parts, the stuff that is purely getting cut out of 1-inch Baltic birch ply, which is very hard to find. I finally got a supplier. That stuff I'm going to be cutting. I'm going to be handling, assembling everything for him, and basically handing him a finished product. And we're just worked out some numbers. I got to send him an invoice, and as soon as he signs it, buying the supplies, and that's about it. And the last thing, and this is really exciting, forming relationships with like a small business is always nice. We've always talked about it, with Macbeth, Dan's with his lumberyards, and Sherwin-Williams even. For getting some finishes. I've been looking for a good lumber supplier and plywood supplier in the area. All we have is, if you're from North Jersey, Board and Beam. Board and Beam is great. They got a great selection, but you're going to pay out the wazoo. Okay. They know what they've got. Well, I can say wazoo.
No, I just
Polish.
don't know what language that is.
Oh, it's Polish.
I prefer Wawa.
Yeah, so pay out the what was the word that Dan couldn't pronounce?
Minushka.
Minushka. Yeah, pay out the minushka.
It's a person that's love art and music and all different kinds of different
Why would you
activities.
look up Urban Dictionary too?
That's exactly what it says.
Okay, you misspelled it clearly. But I found this place. It's called Men in Plywood. The prices are actually super reasonable. I went there and I basically chatted with the owner and other people for like 2 hours plus. The prices are very reasonable. They're willing to work with me on like supply. They're 40 minutes away from me. They usually wouldn't deliver this far, but I was like, I'm going to be getting this much. They're like, we got you, like in free delivery and all that. They also have hardwoods that are S4S or S3S, and for better prices than I'm paying for rough sawn lumber. So I'll take it, and it's not as good as the prices that Mike and Dan are getting, but for Jersey, they're pretty good prices. So I'm pretty excited about that. Got that relationship going. I'm going to be putting in a big order with them. And I'm stoked because they had a wall of plywood, like stacked vertically. Everything you'd want from like an 1/8 inch up to 1.5 inches for some of the stuff, from MDF to paneling to all that. So pretty stoked to have that place, especially for like CNC work. It's going to be really nice. I really wish they had more acrylics and plastics, but they do have an offcut bin, which is dope because no other lumber yard around here has an offcut bin. So these guys are willing to just sell the stuff at a discount.
Offcut bin.
That reminds me, the last time I went to my lumber yard, they gave me a whole stack of like offcuts, and I've been using those for bow ties. They gave me like a whole bunch, like almost a couple wheelbarrow fulls of 8-quarter walnut. Wheelbarrow.
That's
barrel.
That'll do.
All right. You know what I'm saying.
It. I like this.
Do you? Barrel.
But that's dope that they just hooked you up. That's the thing. You got to form a relationship with these companies. I'm excited where this might go because, I mean, they're very receptive. And I was very straight with them. Like, hey, listen, I do like content creation, whatever. They don't even have an Instagram. They have a Facebook account and a bunch of other stuff. And someone named Barbara, whatever, handles it for them.
Of course, it's Barbara.
Of course, it's a Barbara. So Facebook is all they know. But I want to kind of bring them into, maybe I help them a little bit with some basic stuff with content and like, hey, I can shout you guys out if you have Instagram. Space Hay, they're big on Space Hay. And, maybe we can get some better prices. And they seem very receptive. So I'm pretty stoked. So that's been my week. Shall we move on to the questions?
I don't see why we should. I think we just don't do them. Okay, so I think we're probably right. We probably should. The first question is from Adam Barnett. This is it.
Hey guys, Adam here from Barnett Custom Woodworks. So my table saw, I've been running a Diablo combo blade on it, and like every third tooth is flat, but then they alternate left and right. So when I try to do like a dado groove, it's not smooth. It's a nightmare. I gotta sand it, and it's kind of like wavy, and it's a lot of work to clean it up. And I want to get a good flat ground blade so that I can do dados without actually buying a dado. I just want to be able to put like a flat spline in, or just like these small little grooves that I don't need to go and buy a full dado stack for. So what flat ground tooth blade do you guys recommend? Thanks guys. Talk to you later.
Pete. So I don't have like a direct recommendation, but I have a forest saw blade on my saw, and it is the alternating, left, right, center. But when I'm lazy and I don't feel like pulling out the dado stack, that thing cuts like dead flat. So like that center one, it's also a fatter blade. It's a standard, maybe a hair over blade. So that's a good choice. But I'm going to say something that's not officially endorsed, and I'm not telling anyone to do this. I'm just going to say what I've done. I have put a dado stack, not a full dado stack, but maybe the left and right plates, or left, center, and right plate onto a saw as small as the 735, whatever the DeWalt contractor saw is. I'm thinking of the planer.
735 is the planer.
That's the planer, yeah. Whatever the contractor saw is, you can put 2 blades on there, like the dado stack blades. Don't just like put 2 random blades together. You can put those 2 blades on there and still tighten that nut pretty well. And you could technically use the dado stack on those it's not endorsed because you can't put a full like, half an inch or whatever on there. But if there's enough on that for the nut to fully clear and there still be a little bit of the arbor sticking out, you're good. It's still safe. It's not going to come off on you. Safe-ish. Just keep in mind if you have a zero clearance insert. But I recommend Forest. I like them. They make really solid blades. They're actually based out of Jersey too. And Dan, what do you think?
I also do not own a flat grind blade. I never have. Anytime I've ever done splines, I've always done them with a combo blade. And you know what? The little peaks from the spiky teeth, whatever they're called, I forget. They're so minuscule, like you can't see it unless you get right up on it. And if anybody's looking at your work that closely, they probably need popped in the jaw. Like, what are you inspecting my work for that closely? Get away from
pay for it, sir.
No,
you didn't pay to look. You paid for me to build it.
Nobody's looking at it like that. That's crazy. But yeah, I've heard good stuff about the Forest. So, if you want to spend a bunch of money on a Forest blade, you go do that. Pete kind of hit on something that I have thought about doing, but I've never done it, is just using one dado blade. You can use
one.
Not a chipper. You can use one blade. It's a 1/4 inch or an 1/8 inch.
They're 1/8 inch blades. Well, depends on your stack.
Yeah, I have the Freud something, right? It's the pricey.
You could just use the left and the right plates together.
I've just used the left plate only. That works.
Usually, mine's angled left.
No, mine aren't. Mine are flat.
I have the Amana one.
There you go. Trash.
I don't want to fight in front of Mike.
Mike, what do you say?
That's I say that if you want to not have those crowns, I believe is what it's called when you have those little things under the crown.
No, aren't you smart?
Well, I might be wrong, so let's not.
I hope you're wrong.
Get crazy. But if you want to not have those, just buy a dado stack. just buy the right tool for the job and you won't have a headache. But if you don't want to do that, then you're gonna have a tough time. So I have in terms of like specific recommendations, I have the really nice Amana dado stack set. They have like a cheaper set. They have like $140 set, I think, for the cheaper set. I think mine's like 300 or whatever. And totally don't need to spend that much money on it. I don't use it nearly as much as I need to justify spending that much money on it, to be honest. I also have a finger and box joint set of blades that are flat all the way on top. They're both 1/8 inch blades, so it'll do a 1/4 inch at a time if you put them both on there, but they're both perfectly dead flat and it leaves a perfect square cut in there. So there's a bunch of routes. There's a bunch of really great blades on the market. I mean, Forest is great. They're expensive. I really like the spider blades a lot. I like the Festool blades that I have a lot. I like the Amana blades a lot. And I really like the orange CMT blades a lot. Those things are really good. I have had really great luck with Diablo Freud blades. I just don't know that if you have a brand out there that has one of the name brands that you recognize, you're probably going to be happy with that blade. So if it's like
name brand helps.
John's blades and plastic sheathing, don't get that.
Yeah, Mike, you did recommend something. You kind of said it in passing when we listened to this question in a pre-show, and that was I
don't believe that's true.
Router.
I don't think so. Oh, a router plane. If you want to clean it up, you can get one of those old fashioned. Not even
clean it up, but like that's a great option if you want to do. You can just use a router with a track.
Yeah, if you have like 3 or 4 weeks to get that dado done, that's fine. Yeah, go with one of those. But you could cut it out with the saw and then get in there with the plane and clean it up afterwards too.
I think a router
the router planes are sick and
you guys are talking about two different.
I'm talking about a router with the like.
Oh, I have the router with the dado bits.
Yeah,
for the
dado bits
size
are
dado bits.
Great option.
Those were just fine. I was talking about a router plane. Like
I know you are. Yeah, for cleanup. Yes. You would just.
But yeah, routers are fine. If you only got to do like 3 or 4 dados, they're totally fine. If you got to do more than that, set up a dado stack and get the job done quickly and efficiently. That's the way you want to do it. If it's like a handful, if you're just cutting some splines,
I wouldn't use a router.
And
for
check
splines.
out, I'll give these guys a free plug because I've talked to them
blow it
before.
out.
Check out
Might as well
literally
shoot that
sawblades.com.
spline out with a 9mm.
But check out sawblades.com. They have some really good quality stuff that they make in-house.
Sawblade.com. No S
Sorry,
on the end.
sawblade.com. Dan's correct. Dan, I think you bought a bunch of stuff from them, right?
Yeah, I buy my bandsaw blades from them. They're quality stuff, and
I've gotten stuff from them before, and they're
It's,
very good blades.
it's a family-owned business in Wisconsin, I believe.
Yep.
New Jersey. They're from New Jersey.
They
call me all the time.
Forrest is in Clifton, where I used to live.
Okay.
Weird flex. But
Anyways.
Also,
that's
did
our
Adam sound like he was
answers, Adam.
drunk?
I don't know.
I don't know. He told us in the
Little
pre-show
bit.
he was
I don't
drinking.
even.
little drunk.
I don't remember him calling them. The next question is from Ed with E&J.
Hey guys, it's Ed from E&J Creations Woodworks. First, I just want to thank you guys for hitting up my question last week. I appreciate that. So this week, the question
Bills
I
in the
have
mail.
is more of a, I guess, business, financial kind of question. So when it comes to tracking all your orders, keeping track of what goes in and what comes out, what do you guys use? Do you guys use any kind of app or a program, anything like that to keep track of your business expenses, your products that you sell, so on and so forth? So that way at the end of the year, when you do taxes and all that stuff, everything's all in one spot? Or do you have a person that does that for you or anything like that? So there's a question that I had. Appreciate what you guys are doing. Keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.
Mike,
throw it
you
to
want to go first?
Me, I guess. I feel like we answer this one every 2-3 weeks, but
That's fine. Then you have a refresher.
I wonder what you're going to say.
So I have a CPA for my taxes and all that stuff. I have a sales tax guy because that stuff's a pain in the neck, and he's really fantastic. I use Jobber for my project management. That's how I manage all my projects. Dan's shocked. Jobber is fantastic. I highly recommend Jobber. It's worth the money. It's worth the money for me. If you're doing,
Send this episode to Jobber so we can get sponsored, please.
Yeah. If you're doing any amount of business, well, not any amount of business, but if you're hitting a certain amount of dollar threshold with your business, I feel like it's just worth it. Like it saves me so many hours a week. But also I have QuickBooks, and my Jobber invoicing goes, because Jobber tracks my jobs and my invoicing and stuff, but it doesn't track my books. QuickBooks does my books. It does like my gas tracking, all my cost, all my AP, not my AR. Does all my accounts payable, not my accounts receivable stuff. So anyway, you got to have both. And if you do it on a piece of paper, that's fine. But I don't like spending time doing that stuff. I didn't get into this. Oh, God, Dan. No. And then, and I just don't like spending time doing that stuff. I don't like writing it down. I don't like losing stuff. I don't like dealing with that stuff. So I just pay for service for it. So that's what I do. Dan or Pete, whoever wants to go. I don't.
I'll go.
Dan, you go first. Just don't say.
I
Post-it notes
also
again.
have a CPA. That is one of the best investments you're going to make as a business owner.
100%.
Paying for a CPA. In comparison to everything that you buy and everything you spend money on, a CPA is pennies. Pennies. I think I pay mine $500 a year. That is bonkers cheap.
Mhm.
Bonkers. And what he does for me, it's incalculable.
Welcome.
Yeah. And then how I track everything is I throw receipts in a box and call it good. And I hand the box to my CPA.
Oh,
No,
you're
I
one of
don't do that.
those?
I
That's
don't do that.
savage.
Stop.
So
Stop.
crazy.
God, I'm surprised
don't-
it's only
no
500.
way, I
not
don't do that.
6,000.
Who does that? Who does that? What kind of a psycho would put receipts in a box. That's
Oh,
crazy.
I thought it was used tissues.
Like a
Um,
90s movie over there.
I I have a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets are great. They will keep track of all that stuff if you input the information, and then you can just print that out and give that to your CPA. Yeah, Peter.
I also use a spreadsheet. I also have a CPA. He charges me $400 a year.
And you
It's the
also have
best-
a box of receipts, don't you?
No.
Everybody does.
I have the internet,
neat
and it
stack.
tracks all of it.
So it's the receipts I need to
Why
input
do you
right
save
here.
receipts? I don't understand. Don't you put them on a card? What are you
Not
talking
always.
about?
I don't understand what you're talking
Sometimes I trade favor. What is?
You have receipts for trading
has a
favors? What are you talking
bin?
about? No, hold on, Pete. What do you mean? You
Wait,
you
no.
get
Did you? I'm
receipts for
sorry.
trading
Wait, no.
favors?
We need to address the fact that he just lifted a bin of paperwork. It's terrifying. Don't do that.
What?
No, I'm kidding. For trading favors, that was a joke. That's just Home Depot receipts. I
Oh.
gotta put in. No, because I have a bunch of things that I got with like, hey, like get 10% when you
Wait,
spend
didn't
this
you get
much.
QuickBooks?
I did. Just got it. So I was gonna get to that.
Oh.
So I'm getting there. So I've been using for the last 3 years a spreadsheet that I keep very detailed stuff on. Every in, every out. I track expenses, travel, whatever. I put that in there every time something comes up. I've with the house move, the last 3 weeks are like a blank. There's just gaps to be filled in. So I need to sit down and actually fill that in. But what I did get recently is QuickBooks. What really allowed me to do is send professional invoices too, which is really nice. But that's linked with my bank account. I am actually going to be going full business. So I'll have a business card as well. And I'm going to be tracking that and then linking it up with all the other stuff that I have. But that's something that I just started out with. I want to get started with it now so that when the first of the year hits, I'm fully on QuickBooks. And I'm really excited with it. It looks really good. It works well so far.
It's fantastic.
At the bare minimum, track like the spreadsheet with categories, because then you can sort everything, but it's just type in the same word. I like to use a drop-down field.
Here's the thing. If you have a business, if you don't want to do QuickBooks, there's nothing wrong with that.
You don't have to.
But if your business can't afford $20 a month, something's wrong, and you need to address something in your
Yep.
business. If your business can't afford $25 to $30, whatever it is, $20 a month, something's not right. Now,
Yep.
if you don't want to do QuickBooks, that's whatever. But if you're looking at things, you're like, man, I'm not sure if I can do $20 a month to save myself hours.
It's
You're
worth
not
it.
making enough money. You
Same
might
thing with
wanna
the
look to
CPA.
something
It
else.
pays such dividends.
So-
Like they find money
And that's not
for
to, like-
you. Here's an example. So like I'm doing business as, but in New Jersey, I don't have to have like an actual company. I don't have I'm not incorporated or whatever. I'm just doing business as. My social security is my EIN everywhere I go. So when I'm doing
You can
my,
get a separate EIN for your DBA,
I can, but what I'm saying is I have it.
but it's
So I'm
not.
just-
Yeah, I got you. It's
yeah.
not,
So what I'm saying is
Yeah, I got
when I went and I had all these expenses and all these other things and whatever, at the end of the year, if I had a tax bill, it's offset by my business or vice versa. And because I'm married, like it technically, same thing with Emma's stuff, like she works at a lot of 1099 jobs as a teacher, and my business actually offset that. And we ended up not owing what we were supposed to owe. So there's benefits to it, but only a CPA will help you out with that. We have a meeting with our CPA within the next couple of weeks in December for this year, because he's going to tell us, oh, you guys, you need to prepare for this tax bill, or you need to spend. He literally last year, he told me, you should spend this many thousand by the end of the year so that you don't have a tax bill. And I ended up buying a laser. So like, it's not always bad news. And this person's going to help you out, and you'll be ready ahead of time. And get QuickBooks, get something else, or at the very least, just track everything on paper, or not paper, but a spreadsheet. And categories is going to help you out, because at the end of the year, what you do is just, you go to the category that says, supplies, income, loss, whatever it is, you just sort by, and then all your income is in one category. You can just add all those together. It's so much easier. When I go to my CPA, he asks me a number and I just give it to him. I have everything ready for him. It's easy as hell.
Or
With
get a bin.
QuickBooks, I don't even. I don't
Get it
even
in.
give it to my guy. He just has
just has it.
access to my QuickBooks. So it's really
Yes.
nice. I don't have to do anything. He just goes into my QuickBooks and then is just done. So all we have to do is send him all of our interest statements and our W-9s, W-2s or whatever.
W1
And,
through 9.
Yeah, one of them. Anyway, get systems in place. Otherwise, you're going to be spending all your time being an administrative person. The next question is from Josh Friedrich, and his question is this.
Hey, fellas, it is Josh from 507 Woodworks here. I have less of an odd question this time around.
Did he have an
so
odd
that's
question
great.
last time?
So with all the talk of cutting boards and charcuterie boards and cheese boards, oh my, it really got me wondering. A, am I in a Dr. Seuss novel after saying that? And B, how do you guys set prices for these things? I know some species of lumber are more expensive than others. For that, if a client wants multiple types of species, do you set prices based off of board feet and labor? Do you have a set price for how big of a cutting board they want? Or how do you guys do it? I'm sure you guys have covered it in the past, but this brain over here sometimes just does not work. Yeah, just curious. How do you guys set the price points for your cutting boards and such? Anyways, thanks for answering the question in advance. Looking forward to hearing the answers. And yeah, hope you guys are doing great. Talk to you later.
Dan, since you've decided to ruin the podcast, you get to go first.
What'd I do? I don't understand.
You're
I
doing your
don't.
Josh impression. I know what you're doing.
Yeah, what was I going to say? I very rarely get commissions for cutting boards. What I do is I'll make cutting boards out of the stuff that I already have on hand because it's been extra or it's just sitting around and stuff. So I make those cutting boards and put them on Etsy, and I basically just kind of go by feel of it. I mean, like, I'll make a cutting board and be like, well, 75 doesn't seem like enough, so I'm going to go 125.
Yep.
That's how I do that. It's not the best way in the world. Obviously, if I was commissioned to make those, I'd have a better system in place, but I don't. Obviously, the wood still costs me money, so you got to take that into consideration. Regardless of how I got the wood, it still costs me money. So there has to be a decent price, and you don't want to be undercutting people like crazy. That just makes you look like a jerk. So I typically stay around the 125 range. I don't make a whole lot of in-grain cutting boards. I usually just make edge grain cutting boards, which are super fast to put together. And yeah, that's what I do. It's not the best system, but Pete, you are the local charcuterie and
I'm not local to you. so
cutting
I know.
board master, if you
I
will.
mean, the thing is, a lot of times, depending on your market, the market dictates what a cutting board should be sold at.
Also true.
Because there's going to be some guy selling them for $80, and now like you're for an end grain board because he's doing it as a fun little weekend thing. But like, I find that like I do a lot of cutting boards, but cutting boards I like to work on when I have nothing else to do or I'm just trying to kill time. Because if I actually applied an hourly rate to cutting boards, if you're just doing one cutting board, they like an end grain, really intricate and great, whatever, like it's a time sink. Like it just sinks up time. It could take hours sometimes for a certain type of board. I see some of these guys making all these intricate ones and they're selling them for 150, 175 bucks. And I'm like, this
300.
But because they have a system in place, but I'm like, if I made that, that'd be $300 because of the hours put into it for this intricate pattern or whatever. Basically, the way I do it is kind of like Dan. I try actually not to take on too many commissions. Somebody requested, I have literally in front of me a sheet that says someone wants 4 cutting boards. I quoted her a ballpark price. She's like, oh, that's great. I kind of like these. I'm like, how about this? I'm making about a dozen of them over the next 3 or 4 weeks. You just get to choose from the ones that are not already assigned to someone. And it's the same. This is where I apply the whole make then sell instead of sell then make. Cutting boards are kind of a weird thing to take a commission on because they could be a time sink. That's just my thing. And price accordingly, like walnut's going to be more and make it worth your time. If, and then the last thing is, are you an authority in that? Are you known for cutting boards in your market? Do you already have a customer base? Because if you don't, you're probably going to be selling them for less than someone like Mike or Dan, who's got massive followings or like are known for whatever in their markets. Like I don't do commission work. They've done more commission work, so they have more customers. So keep that in mind as well, because you might be able to charge a premium to a premium customer. Mike, you're better likely, or you have better advice probably for that.
Well, I have a number that I use. I mean, I have a formula for cutting boards, and if I am not going to get that number, I'm not going to make it because they're not worth my time. And that number is $65 to $75 a board foot finished. That's what I charge. That's my number. I work on that. And it depends. I bounce between 65 and 75, depending on what they want on there. And then if they want an engraving, it's on top of that $65 to $75 a board foot. So if it's 6/4, 18 by 24, you're looking at like $350 for that cutting board. Probably not that much, probably more like 325. So it'd be on the lower end, around like 65. If you want an engraving on there, now we're looking at 350. So that's my number. So that's the number I've started working on since last fall, is between $65 and $75 per board foot finished. So that's just how I charge it. If that's a number you want to use. Will you sell a bunch? Is cutting boards the main part of your business? You probably want to get more aggressive than that, because for me, I don't really want to sell a bunch of cutting boards because they take so much time and the margins are so tight, and I just don't really want to have a bunch of them. When I have customers come to me for these boards or these big serving trays, they are buying gifts for people and they have good money and they want to spend money on that other person. And when I tell them it's $350, they don't go, ooh, they go, I'm spending $350 on this person. They are going to appreciate that. Or I'm not going to tell them, and I'm going to know, and I feel good about myself for spending that on that person. So, I'll have, it's a different customer. I mean, some people are really looking for cutting boards for themselves, and they want a $500 booze board for $120. There's guys that'll do that for you. I'm not one of them. So go find those guys. I mean, I got multiple requests for, actually in the last 3 weeks, I've had 2 different customers who have reached out. Both wanted 200 cutting boards. I doubt I'm getting either one. I priced them what I considered to be really aggressive. I mean, it wasn't on this because this is a batch order. It didn't have the same formula as this. It works differently when I do that stuff, and I won't go into that. But they were thinking they were going to get these boards for like $15 a pop. Yeah. And I'm like, listen, if I'll provide you a piece of wood that costs $15 a pop, and then you could finish it. I mean, I didn't say that to them. Obviously I wouldn't, but they don't understand, like a little like board that's like just like 9 by 16. The wood alone is like $7 or $8 or $10, whatever, depending on where your supplier is.
I've had to turn down some realtors because of that. They're like, oh, and I want it lasered with my business for $10. I'm like, no.
Yeah. It's it's pretty ridiculous. But anyway, it's one of those things where there are guys that will do it for that cheap. So now you have to compete with this like bottom of the barrel price, and they're just not worth doing. Like for me, cutting boards, I'll do them like if for people who are willing to pay the price that I'm commanding, I guess. But it's not where the money is. Like, it's not where the money is. It's just not there. Big furniture pieces are where the money's at. So the number I use is 65 and 70 a board foot. Let's see. The next question is from Josh, the dad. Here it is.
Gentlemen, it's Josh, the dad. Yep, Josh, the dad, one of the big IG. I know I have not reached the status of your most favorite call-in anymore. I hear there's others. And I'm okay with that. But I just have to say this. This is number 50. Hashtag 50. The 50th question I'm sending in. And it could be my last. Unless I come up with another one. But the only reason I make a big deal of it is because I did it before your 100th episode. And to me, that's an accomplishment. Now my life has no meaning after this. But anyways, I digress. I'm not sure if I have a question, or maybe it's more of a, hey, do you have some advice for those Instagram people, YouTube people out there that they have a specific brand loyalty to? I know we all know that the bigger accounts that you are, you work out deals with different companies, and sometimes you get free stuff, sometimes you get discounts and all that kind of great jazz. But do you have any advice for those people that are trying to show their brand loyalty without looking like they're always doing a commercial? How do you do that? I mean, I've watched you three. Yeah, you guys do a great job of, you throw the company name in whenever you want or whenever you need to, or you just talk good things about them. That's fine. I never feel like I'm being crammed down my throat with the company that you're dealing with. But there's some accounts that's what it feels like. Every other post is a commercial. But how do you handle that? Have a great week.
Pete.
I mean, I think you guys will agree, and be organic and use the actual brand after that post, or maybe before that post. Like, I'm wearing a Brunt shirt right now. I love the damn boots. I am very happy and very fortunate that I am working with them now. But like, I think it's a really solid brand, and I will recommend it because it's not crap. It's not Pebble Chicken. But the other thing is, don't make that all your posts. Like, dilute your content, meaning have some genuine content, and occasionally, like, yes, we are content creators. We're going to have a sponsored post. Sometimes it's not to a level of, hashtag ad, because it actually needs to be because it's paid for that ad. Sometimes, like, we just yeah, it's part of the obligation, and you gotta, okay, cool, whatever. Here's some shoes or this or that for this thing. Just be genuine and don't make your entire feed just ads posing with the tool or whatever. Be genuine. I've done some silly posts with Brunt stuff because they did send me some boots and a shirt and pants, and I'm like, I actually really like these, and you guys are a cool brand, and you support a lot of makers, and I'm all about it. Dan?
Yeah, genuine. Whoa. Be genuine. Genuine.
Genuine minutia.
Genuinosity is important. That's the word I was looking for. Genuinosity. Yeah, I'm never going to support or hype up a brand that I don't believe in or don't use. So, speaking of which, Pete's wearing a Brunt shirt. I'm wearing a Total Boat hat. I wouldn't be wearing this hat if I didn't like their product or their company or the way they treat the
also
community.
Comfortable.
Yeah, also it's a very comfortable hat. Anyway, Pete brought up Pebble Chicken. I mean, a lot of our listeners know who that is by now. We won't mention them by name, but they are a boot company. They sent me some boots, and I was not very pleased with some of the messages they sent me, and they will never see the light of day on my page. Like, I'm just not going to do it. So, yes, be organic with your posts. Actually use the products and believe in them, and don't shove it down people's throats constantly. I mean, people can see when you're shilling, like, if that's all you're doing. People can see that. There are creators out there and other people in the community that's all they do, and people see right through it. I mean, it is so obvious. Actually use the stuff and be organic and be genuine, and that's it. That's all you got to do. It sounds so simple, and it really is, but some people just have a hard time doing it, I guess. I don't know. Mike?
Enthusiasm is important.
Yeah.
As soon as you're not actually excited about what it is I'm just reiterating what Dan and Pete just said. Just work with brands you want to work with. So Josh is asking, hey, how do I represent a brand that I really like, but without sounding like a shill? Look, I talk about Laguna all the time on my page. I know I do. I talk about them all the time. I legitimately love that brand. I really do love that brand. It has a special place in my heart. My very first new woodworking tool was my Laguna 14-inch bandsaw. When I first got into woodworking, I worked really hard to sell cutting boards and different things, to buy tools from money I made from selling woodworking stuff. And it's what got me going. And I just gravitated towards Laguna. That's just how it goes. I will always represent them because I like that brand a lot. I work with them a lot, and I like their tools. That's just a fact. It's a part of my brand now at this point. Like, I work with those guys a lot. there's a lot of brands I work with that I really like because I'm enthusiastic about who they are as a company. You get to know, you create relationships. And that's the big thing here, is creating relationships with these brands. And don't, you start to get a bigger audience and they start sending you stuff. Don't take everything that gets sent your way. I don't know how many emails a day there are about stuff like all these Amazon, these cheap Chinese tool companies. It's just nonsense.
Contour
like
gauges. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Like if I said yes to all these things, I mean, I'd have a garage just full of like $39 drill driver sets.
That reminds me. I got an offer from a makeup brand to do TikTok videos. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
EWP almost did a wig thing.
A makeup brand called Brayley or something wanted me to be an ambassador. I'm like, do you even look at my TikToks? Do you think I can sell makeup? Look at this face. Makeup can't even help this. Come on.
There's some of these brands you like get in with, and I'm actually doing a campaign right now with a company called Garrett Wade. I'm doing 2 more posts with them. I did 1 post already. I've got 2 more. When they came to me, I was looking at their stuff and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to work. This stuff's going to work for me, because it was really more geared towards like a weekend warrior, like hobbyist type of stuff. And I was like, man, what is this stuff? But then I saw they have all this like farm and working around the house stuff. And I am doing a lot of stuff around the property now. They had a really nice splitting maul, a hatchet, a chainsaw sharpener. And they're like, listen, just tell us the things you will be able to use. So I said yes. I said yes to the campaign because I do need these things and I am going to use them. And the chainsaw sharpener works really well. I just used it today. I was really shocked. I was like, oh, I got an electric chainsaw sharpener now, because I go through different blades. I have ripping blades for my chainsaw mill, and I have my cutting blades for my chainsaw that I use around the property. So there is certain times where like I don't have a long relationship with that brand, right? It's a new brand, but I actually am excited about it. When I started looking through the catalog of stuff that they had, I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. I could really use this and I can make some content around this. So the caveat for that is like chainsaw content. How well is that going to work on my Instagram page, right? Like, who knows? I don't know. That's the gamble on my end that I decided to make. That's what I was going to my head. I was like, man, do I even want to show this stuff? But you know what? I am really excited about our new property. I'm really excited about the potential that my new property has. And part of that is going to involve a lot of me cutting down a lot of trees. So I'm going to be sharing some of that.
Technically, that's woodworking.
Page. It's woodworking. I'm making sawdust. So,
yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's a bit of a deviation from my standard stuff, but I am excited about the content I'm going to make around it. So just be careful. Just be careful with some of these brands. It goes back to the conversation I had said earlier where I was like, oh man, I recommended Target coatings to a bunch of people. And now there's this issue and I was worried about it. That really kept me up at night. I mean, just off the top of my head, I can think of Max Jensen and like a bunch of other guys who bought that product. Daniel Langley, they bought that product because I recommended it to them. And I was like, oh my gosh, these guys bought this product because I recommended it to them. And now there's an issue. So some of these brands, if you recommend it to
genuinosity
people and there's an issue, well, if there's just be careful with some of these brands, because if there's an issue with them, with their product, they won't fix it. And you look like an idiot if you've recommended it to people. So be very careful. There's before I was working with Total Boat
when something's wrong, right? Mike, you've dealt with that.
And yeah, I mean, people will come to me and before I was working with Total Boat, before I really even knew about Total Boat, I was using another epoxy brand, and that company screwed me over big time. Let me retract that. That company treated me poorly, and I did not appreciate it. And then they had in succession treated other makers in the community poorly. And I did not appreciate that either. And I was like, I am out. So that kind of stuff really frustrates me. So just be careful with what you recommend. Really think about your decision, because it's a big deal.
If you're a smaller account, whatever, sub 10,000 or sub 20,000, whatever smaller is to you, if you want to get on a certain brand's radar, interact with them and create a relationship. Don't just reach out and go, hey, what do you think about sending me some stuff? Actually engage with them, respond to their stories, make comments on their posts.
And they may not. Yeah.
But it kind of gets your name on their radar, maybe. It helps.
If you do nothing, nothing will happen. If you do something, something might happen. So do something.
Right.
Like, don't just do nothing. Don't be like,
Nobody likes.
I'm gonna hit 10K next week. Can I get $20,000 in free tools? Don't do that. Like,
It's a cold call.
Like,
Nobody likes cold calls.
Yeah, and it's kind of dirty. So, the next question is from Lee Oman. I don't know if it's of any value, but here's Lee's thing.
Yes, hi. This message is for Mr. Peter Kapper. Yes, we would like to just send you this courtesy notice to inform you that it is not the size
There's a
of
lot
the
of
shop
screaming in the
that
background.
counts. It is what you do with it. Okay, thank you, and goodbye.
He's like watching CSI Miami or something in the background.
No,
Yeah,
what
I
is
I think it's
I'm
directed
going
to
to
you. so-
reiterate what I said in the pre-show, and that is, that's not what Regal Street Farmhouse said.
Oof.
That's his wife.
And
Yikes.
Go check out her
that's
stuff.
The show.
By the way, hey, a big shout out to them. They did a little pop-up shop, and they did really well. So those two
Now
are
you're just
killing it. That's-
backpedaling and
No, I
kissing
want to
butt.
give them a shout
I
out.
ordered
I'm
one of-
backpedaling.
I ordered one of Lee's hat rack things, the hat holder things. I was gonna just make one, but I don't have time or power. So I was like,
See?
I'm gonna support Lee. So
When you're as big as me, he just sends you one.
Whoa.
Just saying.
when you're as cool as me, you're happy to support others and pay for it. This next one is from Moses Cho, and this is his.
Hey
He
guys,
surprised me with it,
Moses
okay? I
Cho
didn't
with
know.
Chosen Craft Co. So a quick question for you guys this week is, when do you water pop a board or any project? Mainly because I build a lot of cutting boards, and I water pop those and some charcuterie boards. But do you water pop any other projects like tabletops or anything that you know water might get it, like a grill cart? I think that's how you call it. Yeah. So something like that. So let me know if you guys do that exclusively for cutting boards or charcuterie boards, or do you guys use that for other places too? Thanks, guys.
I will jump in real quick and say that I don't hardly ever water pop anymore because I use Bowties or Rubio or some sort of oil finish for my cutting boards, and it just isn't something you need to do with those. And for tables, so the only time I would do a water pop anymore is it will help you bring out some more character in the wood. So you can water pop some wood before you spray a finish down or put down hard oil wax or whatever, and it'll bring out some more character. And that's really the only time I water pop anymore. I just don't have time for that. Dan?
I do it. I do it whenever I finish a cutting board with mineral oil and beeswax, that kind of mixture.
Yes.
Basically, anything that's going to see water in the future, you want to water pop, especially cutting boards. Or if you're going to use a water-based finish, if you use a water-based finish, that tends to. So what happens is water gets in the fibers of the wood, and it kind of lifts up the fibers, and that's what water popping it does. Is it pre-lifts up those fibers, and then you can sand them back. And that way, when it does get exposed to water, it won't be as hairy feeling. I know that sounds weird, but it kind of feels a little
Fuzzy.
hairy, like fuzzy. Yes.
Abrasive.
Fuzzy.
You feel it.
So that's when I would do it. So a water-based finish, you're basically water popping it with the finish itself. So if you water pop it and then put on a water-based finish, you won't feel the fuzzies after that first coat. That's what I would do. Pete, have anything to add? Probably not.
Yeah,
Let's
for
go on.
cutting boards, I water pop at least once. So one thing I'd recommend is what you can do to cut down on the time, because just spritzing it down with water takes a while to dry out, is I do a 50-50 mix of alcohol and water.
And then he knocks it off the shelf and it breaks and spills everywhere.
I still don't know how that thing snapped. Like the whole top of it just snapped off. Whatever. But I do I call it dizzy water. So I spritz with that, and I not only use it as a cleaner around the shop, but that's how I pop the grain, because it'll be dry within a few minutes, as opposed to like waiting 15, 20, 30 minutes sometimes for it to dry out. On cutting boards, I will 100% do it at least once. Even if I'm using Bowties oil, I'll do it once just to like take off that really rough grain that pops. As far as like furniture and stuff, I might just do it on a tabletop or the desktop or any part that is going to be in direct contact of your hands and your arms all the time. But now that I'm getting more into hard wax finishes like Odie's and Rubio, might not be necessary that much.
I never do it when I use a hard curing oil-based finish.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna be testing it out over the next few weeks, making some boards and some other pieces. But yeah, I think for hard wax, like you don't really need to do it. I kind of love being able to sand to like 150 and stop. It's great. That's it. That's it.
Sweet. That is it. That's it for the questions too.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay, bueno. I know, crazy. The timing is impeccable because I'm done with doing this. So
I'm so over this. I'm done.
I'm so
Is this
over
our
it.
last
Dan
episode?
makes us to do
This
it.
is it.
Every
Okay.
week.
that we couldn't make it to 100. Can you believe 100's in 10? That's like
We need to
February,
talk
middle
about
of
what we're
February.
gonna do for
right?
100.
Yeah, we need to figure something out.
We got to do
We need to
something.
figure something out.
Anyway,
Let's not do it right here though. Let's
speaking
talk
of the
about it later.
future,
Every-
next week we're recording on Wednesday. So if
Wednesday.
you want to get in on the pre-show,
Yes,
we're going
we
to be
will
there
do-
Wednesday.
I think we do a long pre-show.
Why not? I'm done.
Next
I think
week,
we do a little longer one. Is that cool with you guys? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
think that'd be
get-
fun.
I'm going to get
Let's
blitzed.
try.
So
Let's try. I think. What? Dan's gonna drink.
What?
Yeah, we'll do a long pre-show next week.
Shocker.
We'll do more hype about it. And you know what, guys? Why don't we do an Instagram live and then a
I was-
pre-show live?
I was
We haven't
just
done
gonna
an Instagram
suggest, like,
live
do
in
we
a
want to
long
do
time.
a IG live?
All right.
Let's do
What
that.
the
Let's
heck?
do that. We'll talk about it. What?
All right.
Is
No,
that
yeah,
it?
what the heck?
What the
I'm
heck?
in.
That's it.
Let's do it.
Oh,
Yeah, what the-
okay. Yeah, let's do it. I thought you were mad at us. I don't know what happened. Anyway, okay. Big thanks to everyone who supports the show. You guys are amazing. Check out Patreon if you want to support us that way. That is a huge help to the show for sure. Also, check out all of us on Etsy, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. What are we on now?
Hey, Space Hey.
Spacehey.net. Check out Spacehey. You can support us by sharing the show on social media. I know sometimes, we're not always very good about resharing from the Instagram page, but sometimes we are. So
Tag us either
if you
way,
want
because
to
we know we
share-
love that you guys do
Yeah,
it.
tag us either way because we love that you guys do it. It really helps out the show. a
Tag
lot,
us
so.
personally, and it'll definitely get reshared.
There was 30. There was 30 in there yesterday. I was like, oh God, this is a lot of messages like over the last 3 weeks.
It's just all story mentions. All right.
Anyway, big thank you to everyone who does share the stories. You guys are awesome. We all appreciate it very much. Very, very much. It's really awesome. So you guys are a big part of the success of this show. And we
you're a
really
big part of
ask
our
you to,
lives.
help spread the word. And you are a big part of our lives. This show means a lot to the three of us. A lot. So
This is our weekly.
You
like-
have no idea how much the show means to me.
yeah.
No, it does. Like this is when we like really get to catch up, relieve some steam, and talk to you guys. So it's nice.
Yeah. It's great. So next week, like Dan said, glad he mentioned it. We're doing the show on Wednesday. We're gonna try to do some extra special stuff for Thanksgiving. The week after that, we got Morgan Hop on the show. We're probably gonna get creative for December because we got Christmas is coming up and stuff like that. So we got to figure out schedules. But anyway, you guys are awesome. Thanks for listening. We will talk to you guys next week. Bye now.
Love you.
Bye, 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 bye.
Bye.
Bye, 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 bye,
Love you
bye.
long time.
Bye. Kill it.